All right. It seems like we got it, and it seems like we're here for season number 2 of the Legend series of ELC. We're sitting here in our comfortable chairs at home, and logically, I'm not alone. As usual, I got someone who took care of his hair because I have to wear a hat because I didn't let my hair cut. So, Dominic, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite fine, and well, we've got amazing news, as you said. We're back with the season two, or actually, it's part two of season one, still in the Legend series of Counter Strike right here, and a lot of amazing matches, a little bit of changes in the format and everything. A tiny bit a tiny bit bigger of a prize pool, if I'm not mistaken. Also, so everything's just thriving, just going better and better.
Yeah, and I think the first thing we're going to take a look at is our match number 1, which will be HoP eSports versus TTFU. You can easily mix up the Hungarian and the Bulgarian flag, but they're totally different teams with totally different skill levels. And I think, first of all, we're starting with HoP. It's a top 100 team regarding HLTV rating. And I don't know what your feeling is like. We got a best of one. We're going to see the map in a second. But I personally have the feeling that still TTFU is going to take this home.
Yeah, in my opinion, also TTFU should be a little bit of a favorite right here. Although, while at the same time we've got some big names in these teams from their respective local scenes. For me, some of the others are a little bit less known, and I'm definitely willing to find out how these youngsters, some of them, will do. Because, for instance, in TTFU, we've even got an 18-year-old player out there.
Yeah, until those guys are quite young compared to what we usually see. Definitely not VP old, but they're all in that scene very exchangeable, but also very young talents coming up. And when we're actually talking about talents, I think we're going to take a look at the entire groups. And Group A starts with HoP, TTFU, the known reason, back in 2014, and Isuba. We had them last season as well. That is Group A. And you just let me know, who's your favorite here in Group A?
In the entire group, just judging by the most recent activities, I would say that maybe Asuba a little bit. But then on the other hand, we were expecting a lot more from them in the first version of the CS:GO Legend series, while they ended up last in the group, so that was a little bit of a shame. And if not Asuba, then I think that maybe TTFU will grab it.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I personally see the Bulgarian scene, especially lately, growing and growing with really good teams. You might know those guys from Imperial who are actually ex-players with the team of Rogue. But let's get back into ELC and group number B. We have Rectic, Playing Ducks, UX, and Pucksters. And I mean, if you are into that kind of Nordic scene, you know Rectic, you know Playing Ducks for sure. But with UX and Pucksters, you got to take a look at, because maybe they got that underdog advantage, but I would say Playing Ducks definitely going out of this first.
There is definitely a big chance of that happening, although you can never underestimate Arctic, I think, because many a times some bigger teams went up against them and that was a big upset. So they can still do something out there. For the other teams, as you said, UX and Pucksters, you're gonna have to look a little bit deeper into them. But I also recognize UX definitely, and maybe there's a possibility for them to have something especially prepared for this tournament. But you also have to remember something that we have to point out right here. Only the first place goes to the LAN finals, so it's gonna be really hard to grab that first place spot in your respective group.
Yeah, and if you didn't see it yet, the group stage format is really interesting because it's kind of similar to the Swiss one, because the victor of their first match advances, and the victor of the second one also directly gets in that final spot, because out of every group, only one team advances to the LAN final. So that is going to be very interesting to see how they work out. We don't have that point system anymore, which I find really good, because that extra kind of action you can get with this system, with this kind of setup, is always great.
Surely. Now, going over to Group C, we've got FTW Esports right there, Wise Wizards, Zoctai, and Gameplay DNA. And, well, Gameplay DNA, definitely one of the bigger names out there that's been around the scene for quite a bit of time. The others definitely have a lot to prove. And as I got to know already a week ago in the League of Legends Legend series, FTW have a lot of great fans behind them.
Yeah, there was a lot of times when I was casting Spanish or Portuguese teams, and all the time you see them and they go in chat, you are not reading English anymore, but that is no problem because they always give you that kind of feeling, that's great home feeling, this great feeling of a team that really stands behind them, players and fans standing behind them, not only for other reasons. But when we go into our final group, I really love the nations, first of all, where we're going into in the entire ELC Legend series right now, but we're going with Venko, who are mainly Dutch, HoP, Existence, and Planet Key. And I'm not quite sure if you ever casted a game of Existence, but when those fans come up, you don't want to be in the chat because that goes nuts.
Oh yeah, I've never actually casted their games, but I watched a lot of them definitely, and I've seen this team around for quite a bit of time now. Sure, but then you're German. What do you think about Planet Key? Are the German fans also going to step it up?
This is the thing. I mean, if I'm not totally wrong, they have recently won this Playing Ducks Home Masters against against Oronix. So I see them having a chance, and if they go to Hamburg, that would be insane. That would be just nuts, and I can see fully people everywhere around the garage, fully stuffed venue. But Existence is quite good as far as I know. I've never really seen much of Hamas and Venko, so Planet Key definitely coming out of this. If Existence is going to make it, or if they're going to be the final battle, I'm not quite sure, actually.
Okay, we'll see, and everything can just go down to that, to how you are doing on a one day. If your form is a little bit lower, if you're a little bit tired for whatever reason, it might be a little bit problematic. So maybe that we are gonna get to see some upsets. There's definitely always a chance for that. But going back to our first group, first of all, we're gonna see a match of HoP versus TTFU. Then next up, Reason versus Asuba. And yeah, as you mentioned, you've still got that second chance kind of situation. But what's the most interesting thing is when you go all the way through the winner's bracket to the final of the group, you don't get a second chance. It's not like when you're from the upper brackets, you get one map advantage in a BO3 or anything like it's the best of one. Of course, you get to you get the veto advantage, a little bit of that, but still nothing so relevant. So if you are a dominating team in a group, you really have to be dominating very well in order not to be surprised in the last match or something, because you cannot allow yourself to make mistakes.
Definitely, you can't allow, as you said, you can't allow to make mistakes, and this is why HoP versus TTFU will get especially interesting. Who will have the advantage to not be scared about falling out of the tournament, and who will be actually the victor here and advancing further? Because I see, the round number 2 best of 1 in the upper bracket will be, I say, TTFU versus eSuba. Because Reason Gaming, they have that kind of mixed Irish, South African, UK lineup, and I personally don't see that coming out as great against eSuba.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting match, at least for me, to see Reason Gaming out there. Some of the names that I've seen around the UK scene for a long time, some very recognizable guys, and they've very lately been able to beat the Rattlesnake, the Red Snake people, so they're like one of the most recognizable in the UK scene at the moment, so that's quite a nice result out there. But how is it going to match up on the international scene? I have no idea. I mean, after all, UK scene is a meme for some reason.
Yeah. Right? It's just, I mean, it is like, there are multiple memes in the HLTV universe, and I think God Hunden is pretty much on the same level as UKCS. Because back in the day, CS 1.6, CSS, there were known UK teams, but nowadays, I think the biggest things you hear on Reddit, for example, about UKCS are bad lands. So that won't definitely happen in Germany. That is the first thing. And secondly, I agree. Like, Reason, back in 2014, they were also known with a totally different lineup, and people might even have stickers from the majors from them. Today, I mean, when we take a look right now at them, it's Karma, Pangea, Cinder, Hodlum, and Thomas. And I love Thomas for his easy name. I personally see them not really working out that great. I just mean, eSuba will be a tough enemy.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the thing. We just we see eSuba. They're looking quite fine in the group. They match up quite well against the teams. They have quite good results in the past. But after all, we remember how they'd done on the first Legend series, and overall, it's a team that's tends to be really inconsistent, in my opinion at least. But they've undergone a little bit of changes since we last saw them, so maybe these changes have healed their kind of what they lacked.
Yeah, this is the thing. We're going to find out very soon. If I'm not totally wrong, yeah, eSuper right now not in the top 100 though. So we're going to find out how they will perform. We're going to find out how they. So I would say that we're nearly getting there. I'm just listening right now, and I'm just telling the production that something with the password. No, my mistake here. My mistake. So we should be good to go in a second, actually. And I'm really, really excited to see, because those are best of ones, and those best of ones. Train. It's going to be Train. Okay, then we're going to see who will take the knife round, because CT side in the beginning could decide a lot of things already.
Oh man, Train. It's going to be quite interesting to see, definitely. Definitely a lot of AWP action will be pretty useful right here. And I once again feel like TTFU might be a little bit better on that. So down to HoP is definitely going to be surprising their enemies.
Yeah, but also on the other hand, I see both the teams have you have to say it like that, horrible win percentage on both the maps. But technically speaking, there was a higher win percentage, lower win percentage on TTFU. They played it so often, and it just got, let me see, only a 30% win chance out of this. So I personally, I think we're going to see one hell of an exciting game. But let's get into round number 1. Let's get into the knife round with TTFU starting against HoP eSports.
Yep, right off the bat, we're going to decide a starting side for one of these teams, and it's definitely going to be quite good to see. The CT side theoretically has a little bit bigger chances overall in Counter-Strike Train's history, but it never is so easy, HoP is going to secure this round for his team, so HoP take the CT side, of course, for themselves, and I'm not surprised by that. But the fact is, when two of these teams face off against each other, it's very easy to dominate the T side when you've got a good T side prepared, when you've got some good smokes. It actually goes down to how well you mesh together, if you're actually have good team play, if you're still a mix, or if you've played with each other for a long time. So all these details actually will matter a lot, even more right here.
Yeah, and we see right now HoP eSports Razy takes a very aggressive pick in this moment of time. Decides to retreat. Good decision by Razy, because that could have backfired instantly right now. And when we take a look, everything is still quite open. I mean, nothing is going horribly wrong, horribly aggressive, so we don't need to be scared about that. What is more interesting, though, look at that control from Milenko, and that pop dog could easily work out once the players go also out A main. But the options are there. There's still a lot of time, and here they go.
Well, Aaron, he's going to feel himself a little bit overwhelmed, but the headshot from Eric, first of all, opens it up, and then Aaron can follow up with a little bit more space for breathing. DZT now also holding a good position. He clutched the knife round for his team. He's also going to be very useful right now. The bomb is definitely not going to get planted at this pace, and it's still behind BRN, so he couldn't even lay his hands on that. Only one single kill for TTFU in the pistol round. Quite a dominant performance from HoP, and we expected TTFU to be a little bit of a favorite in here. So maybe the pause that they're taking right now, actually, it's HoP who are taking the post, so never mind. Everything should be okay on TTFU.
Diabetes? What? Is that a meme I don't get? Like, diabetes is okay. I mean, you can, maybe if them has a diabetes attack and has to take his insulin. Hope so. I don't hope so the slightest bit, because that would be horrible. But it's technically possible. If someone of them really has diabetes and they have to take insulin, I don't know. That, everything is possible in this kind of magic area in CSGO. We had great pauses throughout the entire CS scene. I don't remember the best, but let's see how this will go afterwards for TTFU.
Yeah, in the first Legend series, I think I said about that one time where the Bosnian players took a pause because their cat jumped out of the window from like the seventh story, so it looked quite serious. But Dumas came back to the game and he was like, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's sad, but what's really interesting, cats actually survive when they're jumping out of a house or out of anywhere higher, because they can better prepare for the jump. So if you didn't know much about cats, now you know a lot about cats. This is biology lessons at ELC Gaming, but let's take a look right now with the buy from TTFU, all carrying the Deagles. That's a heavy investment. No one going for big utility. We see only 2 flashbangs and Punisher and Archery. That should be easy for TTFU. I mean, they have all the opportunities, but as I say it, Punisher takes down BZT, and exactly this is the way TTFU could start it.
Well, Eric, he was the first man to get the kill in the pistol round. Once again, he's going to try to do that. Actually, he secures a headshot on Ivo, first of all, and then Punisher is down to 30 HP. Would be quite easy, but both of them actually missed their shots, and it's all going to calm down a little bit until Milenko gets spotted by Aaron, and he also knows here's Gecko running out of the pop dog, so not sure why the terrorists decided to do that. Perfect coverage of that bomb site A from HoP eSports this far. I definitely have to say that each and every single one of them is supporting, and they've always got their backs. So there's always a reply, and sometimes they don't even allow TTFU to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and in the beginning it looked really worrying when we saw that first Eagle shot, and as a player you always say, okay, we're just 4, they have just pistols, but it can backfire all the time. HoP didn't go so far, and as we see, I mean TTFU, the classic buy, and now the full aggression probably coming onto the B side in a matter of seconds. Fifi and Razy just hold up, wait, and it's in a matter of seconds. We should also see them push on to that side. Razy and Fifi both ready for this. And here comes the unarmored Glock push, which should be an easy one. Razy finds the first, Fifi finds 2. Oh, and be alright. I mean, the plant would already help them out a lot, and I think that is possible right now. It happens.
Wow. It is definitely going to support their money coming into the full buy that they're going to get, but a little bit late of a bomb plant. Definitely they would be happy with getting it a little bit earlier. But, alright, now it's going to add a little bit of spice to the up-and-coming round. Let's see if they're already going to grab some AWP, or is it just going to be some full sets of nades to prepare a nice tactic walking into one of the bomb sites. Also, the CTs might lack a tiny bit, I guess. You've got a FAMAS on both Nofear and Aaron.
Yeah,
but overall,
I mean,
full sets of nades still, and they have their defuse kits, so that's important.
Exactly, but this could backfire, because here comes, nope, it's going to instantly deny. BZT finds Punisher. Going with that aggression against full gun round is kind of unusual, but it surprises your enemy, and that worked fully onto Punisher. As we have seen, they're achieving a great entry frag. Archer waits up for that ladder, because he has got that information. Those guys, they play aggressive, but not this time. Aaron keeps his feet still. Doesn't move. And just holds it up. 60 seconds more that TTFU can work with. Though they have 4 players, the options are existent, the smokes are there, and now it's just up to them to make it to some...
Well, with 1-man disadvantage, it's got to be a little bit tougher, but they know what they've got to do. They're going to try to definitely once again get the bomb planted, but a nice incendiary right off the bat. And Gecko is not really synchronized with the rest of his team because they got cut off. So he just ran out as a suicide mission. And that ends up as a real quick and clean sweep for HoP eSports. These guys, they're rarely even losing people.
Yeah, that is... Once more, timing is important in CSGO. A second too early and you directly blow it up instantly. And there we have seen HoP eSports picking up their 4, fighting against tech team called TTFU. And you know, it would be really ironic if they take it right now. And I somehow see it from Brady realize one smoke. Yeah, there we have a little gap. And that makes it possible. TTFU on 4. And the dream, pretty much down the drain already.
Yeah, but depends on who. HoP eSports definitely are living the dream right now. Could be a very easy 5-0 in their favor. They don't have to be afraid of their enemies at all. And I don't see Punisher or Milenko shining this far. We don't see a lot of frags from them, while we might be expecting that. And Gecko, once again, I feel like earlier on, the incendiary has cut off the rest of his team. Maybe there was no good communication between these players, but he ran out and died instantly. Right here also, the gap in the smoke. He's going to get killed. There's no support, nobody to refrag. So I feel like HoP eSports this far are meshing together much better.
Yeah, totally agree on that. And There comes the flame onto Pop Dog. It just forces TTFU to do nothing as the time is running low and they can't get out of anything. Still 4 flames that are onto HoP. Eric finds one. Punisher one coming from behind, but directly gets sniped by PZT. PZT, good taken down, but oh, taken down 2. That is quite alright with the economic damage, because as we know, and if you're kind of new to CSGO, economic damage onto CTs is way heavier, because they achieve new money, how you could say it, or they achieve a good amount of money very, very hardly, because their equipment is more expensive. The way they have to hold it off, they have to buy a more expensive flame grenade. This sounds minor, but it is definitely a thing.
Surely, but I feel like this economical damage was done a little bit too late. If it happened in the second round, possibly in the fourth round, it is a little bit late, because you could see already 14,000 racked up in HoP eSports, and if they didn't have to replace their weapons, that money would go to waste, because they were really close to the 16k cap.
And that 16k cap will probably bring them onto some crazy ideas. Maybe we're going to see an auto snipe at the end of the round. Never a bad gun. I feel people really underestimate Star 20. I don't know why they.
Well, once again seeing Gecko right in that upper B holes. Wondering if there's going to be actually a possibility to pick him up once again, if he's going to be the one to make the mistakes, or Milenko, will he cover him rightfully this time? Well, no fear, it does not peek too far in, so he's not getting into any danger, but they see the grenades, and they are already calling in some teammates, and you don't see this single man B defense as usually. We've got 2 people from HoP eSports from the very beginning of this round, and then 1 more guy real close to make the rotation. So, might prove very useful, but might also be a little bit of a mistake, as now the rotation is starting from the terrace side. They're going to come on from the Pop Dog, and yeah, there's Ivo with 1 kill. Milenko's going to follow it up with a double for himself. ERN's going to cover the connector, and that's an easy kill for him with a bomb planted. 3v1. Finally, we see TTFU close to winning some round, and, well, maybe on the first full buy they were not as prepared for how impressively HoP played it out, but this time they've got an idea of how to beat them, and wow, no fear actually has beaten Gecko with that pistol fake.
Yeah, that was lovely. I really, you know, baiting him with that USPS and saving himself an AK is definitely worth something. And you know, when we take a look right now at the scoreboard and we take a look at the money of TTFU, this is the first victory they pick up, so this is the first winner bonus they're getting. And take a look right now. I mean, Punisher is just barely on the brink, and the rest, they can't really afford a big bunch of grenades, and this is where it could get problematic. But that morale and that entire, okay, we got around, now it's good to go, our chance, our season, this could come up right now, so HoP needs to be prepared.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to turn completely horrible for TTFU right now. Still, only the first death of Eric. No Fear still has not died in a single round this far. It's looking quite impressive for them. Oh, the molly hitting Aaron in the head out there definitely slowed him down a little bit. So that peak did not work as you wanted it to. He's going to try to fall back. A good spray from Gecko. He nicely saw through everything. So exactly where the enemy will be going, but unfortunately he was not able to connect these shots. And once again it's going to slow down a tiny bit.
Yeah. That slowdown can just totally shut down the momentum of TTFU, and there is where it could get problematic technically, but I mean, they're holding all off the angles, they're just waiting for the right moment of the execution, they just wait for HoP to do the mistake with the utility, but we still see 4 Molotovs onto them, 4 firebombs, but no more smoke. So we're going to find out, and especially what's important, how Razy and Aaron both still have that Molotov. So if this goes for B, and this is what it looks like, and those smokes are going to pop in a second, then it can hold them off, but let's see if that will be the case. Let's take a look right now on to Razy, who needs to find something together with Aaron.
Oh, Gecko did not get burned right there. Aaron's going to have a little bit of a problem. Gecko's getting really close, and not only does he take out Aaron, but also Phoebe dies to him. So finally he's had a very good round, because this far he seemed like a weak link to me. But yeah, there's a triple kill for him combined, and only BZT remains. Gets a good headshot. Knows roughly where Gecko should be, but it's not really looking the right way, and that's going to guarantee the Bulgarian player a quad kill.
And I mean, that quad kill, that helped out TTFU a lot. And let's take a look, because if they also shut down HoP once more, if the Bulgarians take on the Hungarians, we should see them having a good chance to get onto the 5 consecutive rounds. Because HoP, after this one, if they lose, pretty much zero money. They're bankrupt, how you could say it. And the aggression from TTFU could fully backfire. Depends on HoP, how they will react to it, because they got all their utility. There comes Eric, he finds one, but the flames grill him alive. That's some Chivapchichi right there. And they're 3 more to pick up.
Good position for BZT right here, and these smokes I feel like are putting TTFU at a big disadvantage, but they're still fighting the kills, they're still fighting back, and Fifi left in a 1v1, Leg goes down to 4 HP behind Electric. Fifi does not seem to know. Is he gonna shoulder peek with that knife? I don't really know whether that would be a good idea, because Fifi, yeah, he's got no clue about where the last Bulgarian will be, and Milenko's got the bomb on his back. That actually adds a little bit of chances for him. Still, it's not going to be such a completely hopeful situation, but he can do this. And he's going to go straight into the connector, just check it on the surface, or is he going to go through? Oh man, Fifi was ready for that. He could have backstabbed him. That could have been an easy ending to the round, and an advantage for the Bulgarians. And as you mentioned, actually, you said something very valid out there. If HoP get beaten once again, they're going to have their money crushed. But look at the other hand. TTFU also with 2 players ending up with just $2,000. They also didn't rack up a lot of money, so they're also not going to be so comfortable. And now with this kind of equipment, if it doesn't work out, they are also completely broke. But hopefully that UMP, that Galil, will be able to get something done. Oh, yeah, aggressive position right off the bat from Aaron.
Yeah, and HoP eSports, once more statistically speaking, they are so CT advantageous. I mean, they have about, let's take a look, their win chance on CT is just 20% higher. So, you know, double digits or something like that, 10-5, 11-4 scoreline, and then TTFU starts with the Bulgarian engine. They're good to go. We're going to find out about that. We're going to find out if the terrorist side will be more successful. Less up.
Oh, the flashbang breaks down that offense of TTFU completely, and no fear with a triple. Fifi's gonna get a double. That was another simple round, and I feel like overall, HoP, for the most part, when everything goes right for them, it looks just perfect. Sometimes when they make the mistakes, it's hard for them to fix them, but TTFU, they were only able to find these mistakes once, and I feel like HoP are very much motivated right here. The Hungarian team, I don't know, it just feels like they're on the move all the time, like they're communicating very lively. They always know exactly how to follow up. While TTFU, sometimes they feel a little bit clunky.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. But, you know, a thing I'd usually do when I cast with guys who I didn't cast one with a while, I have the most important question in entire CS history. Tell me, Dominic, if you could choose one guy from any scene, from any team, who would you go out and drink a beer with?
Oh my goodness. It's a tough question, you know.
No one can answer that.
I don't know. I would go for Zen. I met him on Gaming Paradise qualifiers in Slovenia, and he was a really cool guy. And it turned out he's from Hungary, by the way. And it turned out that he was on Erasmus actually in Poland, and his girlfriend lived like 2 kilometers away from me. So insane of a situation.
That's interesting. I can see that point. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture right now in front of me, but the picture of victory should be right now in front of TTFU, because otherwise this could turn out to be a horrific first game. And HoP, I mean, that distance regarding their points is just very comforting for them. And at this point, it is just about TTFU to find more and more rounds. At least 5 should be all right, a good basis, let's say it like that.
Punisher is going to be prepared for that. So, well, no fear with a very aggressive position. Fifi is also going to find a kill. So it's not as easy as it was the previous round, but it still is going to be HoP eSports completely dominating. And I'm wondering why we didn't hear the bomb plant sound, and I feel like Fifi also didn't hear it. So maybe it bugged out a little bit, but he still was able to take care of the planter before the bomb got down. So everything's perfectly fine for HoP. No, there was no bomb plant, but he started planting the bomb, so you usually hear the clicking sound, right?
Yeah. It's just a little bit awkward. We know CS:GO can sometimes be a little weird. Okay, let's take a look. HoP once more, pretty much $0 on free players, and their loser bonus is quite alright. They can work with the next round even if they lose, but it's just not comforting, and also it just does not feel right. It just does not feel this way they should approach it. And that break we just had seemingly didn't bring any major change so far, but you know, this round turned out to be horribly wrong what I'm saying, but Razy shows us that Gecko has no chance.
Oh, yeah. So, Gecko, he had this one round, and the one time when I mentioned he gets a quad kill, he's not been doing much this far. I felt like he was the weakling, but these kills were actually his first 4 kills. He did not have a kill earlier, and I don't think that he's getting much more from that point on. Yeah, so he's still sitting on 4. So, he died 10 times, and out of these 10 times, he only killed people once.
That hurts to hear. It really hurts. And take a look at now, Aaron. God, the shots are so good right now, and this is incredible. Like how you even have that op, and you just need to check one angle, and you still don't hit it. That is horrific and demoralizing, as much as possible it can go. And right now, HoP have a 7-point difference to TTFU, who are once more down to just some pistols, P250, a deagle, the classic kind of stuff you play, but no armor. So aim punch at its finest. And this should be an easy one once more for the guys from HoP.
And yeah, the grenades will just completely devastate them. And also coming back to the previous round, like Aaron, I admire his confidence right there. He knew that he tagged the other guy, so he just pulled out the USB and killed him, while Orififi was coming in from behind. So, like, the lack of patience sometimes just completely backfires, but this time it worked out perfectly for him. It feels like HoP know, or at least they convince themselves that they are much better than their enemy, and they completely crushed them.
Yeah, and what I found really interesting, this guy Aaron, I just Googled a little and found out he's seemingly a kind of famous Hungary scene, but okay, take down one of the most famous streamers of Hungary. Gecko, no respect, jumps down, takes out his P250 and says, "Your head looks nice, can I have that?" Brings it to a 4 versus 2 with HoP eSports. I mean, we don't really need to talk about how this round will go, but considering to save that AK would be a quite decent option.
Oh, well, Gecko, yeah, oh no, mind. That's going to be a Fifi with a double. But I wanted to say that Gecko has not been actually killing for a bit of time, so maybe another quad kill's coming, although that's proven to not be true. 10-2, it's quite an impressive scoreline this far. And of course, it's the CT side for HoP eSports, but you can clearly see what's happening on the screen, and you can clearly see that HoP eSports definitely are dominant, and not only because of their side that they're playing with.
It's just so concerning, and also on the other hand, you know, I have a big heart for teams that are losing and that are underdogs. So I would have said that TTFU is the winner out of this. Anyway, I just feel bad for TTFU at this point, and sometimes the teams also deserve it, and there it goes. There comes the aggression from Razy, finds one, Milenko doesn't react in time, and Gecko in the team speak be like, how do you not save me right there? How is that just possible? Brings it back as it looked good for a man advantage on TTFU. Fully denial there by Razy. Picks up Gecko, and with 60 seconds, we still have full equalization in teams.
Yeah, and okay, Punisher is about to peak right here. I mean, he decides not to hold that angle anymore, but what I wanted to say is many times Gecko dies because of some mistakes that he makes, because of the miscommunications that come out of him sometimes. But I also noticed that it's not the first time Milenko lets somebody through or is not able to refrag and stuff like that. So definitely Gecko is not like the only problem with TTFU. Oh, BZT's gonna get a double right here. So not only does the boosted jump does not work at all, but also they provide a double kill to the sniper. He's down to 1 single point of health, but he's still alive. It's a 5-on-1, never mind, 4-on-1 now, 3. Milenko finding another kill, but BZT is going to be able to close it out. 1 HP, he still finds one more kill.
Yeah, that one more kill is just horrific, pretty much. You know, it makes me feel very bad once more. And TTFU, 3 of them, no, 2 of them actually, have $0. Archery has $50 bill in its bank. How those. It's the first. Learn from their mistakes. I don't know, thinking. We see them doing it very often.
Okay. Yeah, pretty impressive of a push out there from HoP. Although right now we might have an even better one. Finally, Nofir makes a mistake right there when he walks up that ramp. Earlier on, he was always able to get some kills, but maybe because this time it's not Milenko that's covering it, but somebody else. So TTFU falling back a tiny bit, but only with 2 people. The other 2 also stay in the vicinity of the pop dog. That could be a little bit of a split towards bomb site A, and after showing up so heavily next to B, might be a little bit of surprise. Although with so much time left in the round, I don't think HoP will completely like commit into one of the sites. 1-man advantage though, that doesn't happen often for TTFU. So this is the moment to actually do something for TTFU, but BZT secures 1 more kill for himself. BRN is going to be completely blinded. BZT misses a shot, but he knows exactly where the man is going to be. So BRN is pinned down. Now coming in from behind, Punisher is going to open it up a tiny bit because he opens a way of escape for BRN with the bomb on his back also. So there is another chance to do something. Punisher, BRN. They've got it. They got the bomb site A. They forced the rotation over to B by HoP, but like 40 seconds later, after I said that. Now, Punisher is not going to be looking the right way. No one's coming in from the upper holes. Now, it's all down to the connector. BZT is going to be boosting up Eric instead of the AWP being boosted to spot out some corners in here. So they're going to look at the pop dog. They realize the Punisher might be in there, so that's already a nice idea they've got out there. BZT is going to be completely surprised. The bomb is planted in the right spot, and they've got a crossfire set up on Eric. No chance to win it. No time to win it. Punisher's still got a peek and he dies. And I still feel like Eric would not have the time to defuse the bomb, but this guy puts a lot of effort into doing it and he just doesn't even still fall back. Man, the confidence in HoP is just so high. And they still have enough money, more than enough money to go for another full buy. And I feel like TTFU, even if they win that 4th round, I don't feel like it's going to be enough. Of course, it's going to be a good attempt. Then after winning the pistol round, they're going to be a little bit closer. They're going to give themselves the chances. But at the moment, it looks pretty grey. So Gecko and Ivo with UMPs. They make the jump, but I'm quite sure BZ also knows about it, but he might think there's only 1 single person, and that could completely surprise him. BZT is burning down, gets the kill, and does not get away from there. He got slowed down, I feel like, by the HE that was right behind him, but I also feel like he might have made this race a little bit too shaky, and that also completely lost the impact. Now Milenko is going to be coming in from the main entrance. That's what Eric wants to pay attention to. But right behind him are 2 more people, so he's got to be quick. Well, Razy spots out the 2 coming in from the Ivy, but it's not enough. It's going to be Punisher still winning the fight, and also he loses Eric at the same time. Gecko, once again, very sloppy on these spray downs, but with so many people from his team still left alive, it's not going to be so bad, but I feel like Gecko, he's got to shake the stress off. He's got to get more into this game, actually, because this far, he's not doing much. He's not being too helpful. So there's 1 defuse kit ready for TTFU. There's a smoke grenade also right next to that. No break the pistols for any of the teams. And a set of grenades for Aaron. Tosses in a flashback towards the holes, actually. 1 towards the pop dog. Tosses in a good smoke on bomb site A, and now it actually sports a little bit of Archie. He's gonna get out of there with a headshot on towards No Fear, and HoP eSports hopping up with a good idea, and they're still continuing it up even though they lose one man. They're gonna be looking quite fine. Gecko, I feel like his foot was spotted out, and definitely with these 2 kills going his way, BRN is also gonna get another one. They know that Aaron was coming in from that bomb site B, so TTFU, in my opinion, with some scarce information, they pulled out a very impressive round win. The idea from HoP was real nice, and they lost one person, but they also were able to find a refrag, pick up some USBs, they got the map control out there, taking care of the Ivy and the old bomb train. So it looked perfectly fine. But later on, Gecko once again steps up, so sometimes he's got these flashes of good skill, but most of the time that's missing. So hopefully he's gonna feel a little bit warmer, a little bit more at home out there on the CT side, because that's what his team needs right now. He's all alone on bomb site B, at least for a second, because Milenko is going to join him again. Once again, there's going to be the duo that works together. Milenko and Gecko. Fifi's going to be spotted, but not stopped. At least not for a longer while. Gecko and Milenko, they get the kills. Finally, a reply from Eric. And they really want to secure themselves the bomb plant. And they're finally going to get a Gecko also pretty low in health. So there's a chance for Eric to finish him off. He picks up a UMP 45 and wants to grab the money with a kill for it. But, yeah, No Fear only kills BRN, and that convinces kind of Eric that he's not going to spot anybody out anymore. And he thought that nobody's actually saw him also, but that was not really the case, and coming in from behind, he gets picked off. Bomb gets defused, even though the CTs are not even using the defuse kit, so that was quite a quick retake. And TTFU, they're doing a good job right here. Winning the pistol round with a huge help from Gecko. Gecko also doing quite fine right here on that bomb site B. They have the weaponry. They're going to have the economy being built up on their side. Gecko actually goes for the MP9, so possibly he's going to rack up a lot of money for these kills, but he's still got to be careful. Going up against the Deagles, against the Scout with a Kevlar, it's never going to be safe, definitely. But for now, they don't know about it. Now they finally hear some Deagle shots. He's going to jump up there. No Fear's head, but once again struggling a little bit, just like on the T side with a UMP a little bit earlier. So I feel like this should not be his comfort zone. Should not be jumping into that pop dog. Should not be playing around the ladders, because it just fails most of the time. Of course, he got 1 kill, but 1 kill is not what he's been hoping for. He lost a Kevlar and an MP9, which is more than $1,900, and then add all the grenades and stuff in exchange for just 600. Not worth it. Now that MP9 is on the hands of Aaron. Additionally, he's got a Deagle, and he's already secured 1 single kill, but then right in front of him are 3 people. Not sure if when he peeks, he'll be able to get anything done. Fifi spotted out by Milenko. And an incendiary flies in. Of course, the CTs don't want to allow the terrorist team to plant the bomb. That's the #1 objective right here. Just pacify them. Just keep them away from the bomb sites. And then of course, they expect that they will be able to win the round, so killing them should not be a problem. But having eyes everywhere on all the entrances might be. Now, Fifi with a kill on Punisher, but at the same time, Aaron dying is going to be too bad for the HoP eSports, for the Hungarian team. And the Bulgarians are regaining that momentum of theirs, which I feel like is going to be real good to see. A little bit of a change, a little bit of refreshment for TTFU. Gecko doing much better. And most of them just being on point, just hitting their shots. So maybe they just much more prefer to have their angles, and just holding them down is what they're good at. But when they have to figure something out from scratch, when they have to build themselves up an entry towards one of the sides, they just lack a little bit. Good kill from Aaron, though. Ivo also down to 40 HP, so there's a possibility to pick him off, and the AWP does not do anything. Also, the support that was prepared, a smart idea from TTFU, that backfires completely. So maybe just going for the simple ideas should be a better situation, should be a better thing to do for them. So BRN, Gecko, and Milenko. That's what we're seeing on TTFU's side. Malenko's got an AWP on his hands, so the one that Ivo lost is not such a horrible loss for them in terms of economy, because it got picked up, and not for long. Aaron is also going to be able to take care of that. That's a double kill combined for him, and he'll also be looking for Gecko, who's down to 25 HP. They roughly have his position down, and they just have to hunt him down, track him down, and he's waiting for BZT to peek at him. But does he know? Coming in from behind is Aaron. Actually, Aaron peeking into bomb side B, so it's going to take him a little bit of time until he finally spots out Gecko. And the time is ticking. The bomb's real close to exploding. Aaron realizes that the last guy standing actually is not going to be in that area. So he tricks himself into thinking that maybe he's falling back towards like T-spawn or something, but that's not true. They lost themselves the opportunity to finish off the last weapon on TTFU, but then that last weapon might not even mean so much. He's pulled the trigger. The HoP still didn't figure out where that came from. Yeah, TTFU winning 3 rounds. First of all, they were supposed to earn themselves a little bit of money, but they had to rebuy weapons many times. Gecko buying up that MP9, losing it without much input was quite bad. And yeah, you can see them playing with an AWP with 2 M4s. But then Gecko saving up that M4. He's only got 3,000 left on his account, so he wouldn't even be able to buy it up after dying. So it's very lucky from him that he survived, but I'm not too sure if it is enough. Last time TTFU lacked on the T side with that mixed buy with 2 UMPs, with the Tech 9 and 2 AKs. They failed miserably. Now might be the very same scenario. But there is no sniper rifle on HoP eSports. So maybe that's the opening. HoP eSports also missing the sets of grenades on 2 people. They fail the smoke. And after that flashbang, I feel like TTFU have enough info to figure out that it's going to be a bomb site A push. Aaron, 50, they're finding kills. No. Oh, my goodness. Eric is going to get put down by an impressive H headshot from Punisher. And he even types in nice shot, but then Razy, he's very active. He does not actually let the enemies figure anything out. And yeah, Fifi had to get that kill. Had a good position after no fierce death. Have enough time to regain control of the situation. 13-7 it is in favor of HoP eSports. Second round won consecutively. Gives them the advantage of TTFU playing with pistols mostly. It's going to be the 14th round already, and TTFU will not have any more space of mistakes. 4 mistakes, rather. Gecko pushing up. Not sure if it's a good idea, but nobody's looking that way yet. And is he going to be able to pull the trigger quickly enough? He knows that they're around the corner, but he misses completely. BZT with an easy kill. 3 P250s and a USB left out there. No Kevlars, and once again, as Zesh pointed out last time, these Kevlars, the lack of Kevlars rather, were hurt a lot. The HEs just demolish you. The aim punch that kicks in is very bug. And yeah, Aaron running in. Fifi finds a kill on Milenko. Aaron should be checking that corner, and he indeed does. But Eric is the one to get that kill, so I'm quite surprised. 14-7 though. HoP eSports real close to securing the first and only map we're going to get to see in this matchup. Remember, it's all about the best of ones, the best of threes, the bigger series you're going to see only on the LAN finals. Right here. You only get a 1 shot in 1 match, but then you've got the losers bracket, so it's not like TTFU will be out of the competition. It's only going to be made much harder. And I feel like we're talking how eSub should be the ones to possibly grab the first place spot in this group. If not, it would be TTFU to take her place, while HoP eSports seem to be the ones hungry for blood the most this far.
So,
are you back or not? Because I guess that's what you wanted to say. But yeah, that's round number 22, a full buy for TTFU and a last call. But even with that full buy, just take a look at the grenades they have. The grenades might not be what they need. Good headshot from Gecko, instant reply from TT, but the Punisher also finds one. And it's not enough from BZT to grab the equalizer. 4-on-2 in favor of the CTs. Good smoke. Eric's gonna get a double somehow. Milenko lined up with Punisher, and the bomb is going to get planted, and I feel like nobody knows where Razy is. Crossing the smoke. He doesn't even cross the smoke because it's just disappeared, but he gets a lot of info. Eric gets killed. That's an easy frag on BRN, but also gives Ivo the info exactly on where No Fear will be. Oh, stepping around is not a good idea. Ivo will get the backstab going, and he does not have a defuse kit. Was one even bought into this round? I don't think so. It's going to be close in the time, but I think he's got it. So TTFU will grab this round for themselves. 8-14. Nevertheless, it was 4-on-2. It still is a little bit too close for comfort, in my opinion, after getting a 4-on-2 situation like this. So still mag 7 by Milenko. UMP for BRN, and the economy is just not quite there for them. HoP eSports, on the other hand, they feel very nice with what they've got in their hands. BZT is going to pull off a nice kill right off the bat. Milenko is going to burn him down right after, though, but that's gave some good ideas for Fifi on where he might have been. Gecko, will he run out of the smoke? Instant headshot. He's going to get another kill. So No Fear was not able to recover from that situation. Eric, though, replies just as in the previous round. 1-on-1 situation remains. So this time, I feel like there's a little bit better info for HoP eSports. I feel like Eric will have a clue on where the CT might be, and that indeed gives him the edge in this situation. Gecko also being the last man standing. I don't think that it's the best kind of spot TTFU want to be put in, and 15-8. HoP eSports in the lead here. One more round to finish it off. Gecko is once again going to have a mag 7 on his hands, but all the rest of the team only has pistols. Good grenades tossed into the main entrance. They figure out exactly where the terrorists will be coming from, so all of them are quite successfully tagged. Gecko runs in, but he's only going to be able to find one kill, and only Ivo remains. Coming in from behind, actually. It's going to be a 5-7 on his hands, but aiming at that main entrance is BZT, and he's also got a pistol, but that pistol's not going to be enough. And an AK-47 already picked up. There's a possibility to grab even an AWP, but actually, that does not happen at the end of the day. 16-8 in favor of HoP eSports. We were putting the Bulgarian team, TTFU, as a little bit of a favorite in this matchup, but it turned out that the Hungarians were the better ones, and that might definitely stir the groups a little bit, because I feel like TTFU should be on a good enough level to face off against the eSuba, and then we've got a successful match from HoP eSports right now, so we might have definitely at least 3 teams that will be battling till the last drip of blood for that first place in the group. Then Reason, we are yet to witness their match. They definitely have to prove us a little bit about themselves, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. So, Vincent, I hear that you're back.
I think my camera decided to not be back for some reason, so you're only going to hear my voice. But yeah, I'm back, and that is unexpected. I mean, 16-8 is a decent scoreline.
Yeah, definitely. And on the CT side, you could definitely see that HoP eSports was just a little bit better. They had the edge overall in this matchup, and it's not only about having the CT side. But then when TTFU got onto the CT side themselves, they felt quite nice. Gecko is doing pretty well. You could not feel that clunkiness anymore from them, I feel like. But at the end of the day, just HoP were better still.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't say it any differently. And our second map is going to be, or our second match more likely, is going to be even more interesting, because we're going to take a look at Reason Gaming versus eSuba. And I don't know how you feel, and we had at the beginning, eSuba being that kind of favorite, but let's take a look at UKCS. So maybe some new memes, but also maybe some decent comebacks or some upsets more likely.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely going to be an indicator on how eSub actually does in this tournament. Whether they're indeed going to be the one to dominate this group, because that's what should happen on paper at least, or whether they're going to have the same form as last time in the Legend series, where they were struggling to even win a single map in the group stage. While on the other hand, Reason Gaming, they could show us they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, or they could just be that slightly unknown UK team that's going to be a little bit of a mix coming into this tournament, and there's not much to expect from them. But the teams that we don't expect a lot from, I feel like are in the most comfortable spot because they can surprise the most. They can just impress.
Yeah, I couldn't say it differently. I couldn't say it differently, and yeah, well, today we're going to see just those 4 teams, but I think throughout the other 3 days we're going to see even more and more exciting matches. Once more, Playing Ducks is in here. We also have Gameplay DNA, we have Existence, we have Plaid Key. So all that stuff is going to be very, very interesting. But first of all, I want an exact prediction of you, exact numbers of eSuba and Reason Gaming.
Oh, wow. I hate it the most, you know. When someone
Yeah,
asks me how much the match is gonna last or exact numbers right here, but definitely knowing the map would be a little bit easier to decide. But I would say it's gonna be pretty close in terms of the scoreline to what we've seen in this first match. I'm betting like 16-7, 16-9, something along these lines. So it's not gonna be completely one-sided in my opinion. But after all, eSuba are gonna take it.
yeah, but as Classic, we have to take a look at that map pick because that is what pretty much decides it in this moment. Because, and we see here perfectly, Reason versus eSuba. And in the past, I mean, Reason has not shown great performances. I mean, they have lost just recently on against Dobre in game, against Orbit, and that was all a while ago. eSuba, though, brought interesting victories against those Ukrainians from Spring Prey, against the Slovakians from Inside, and Fraternitas, also a Czech team. So they got more preparation, they got a little bit of a better setup. And we also finally know who our 5th man for Reason. That's going to be Cray. Ever heard of him?
Oh no, unfortunately not. But I definitely have heard about Kamapan, yeah, about Thomas out there, and about Cinder. So looking forward to these guys perform. And I feel like possibly Kamapan is a little bit of a leader in this team. I've seen him the most around that British scene in many of the teams and many of the tournaments that I've casted on some Insomnia tournaments and stuff like that. So there's a possibility he's going to be like the guy to lead Cray into this match.
Yeah, then that is going to be really interesting to see when, especially eSuba was in Legend Series, the season #1 of Series #1. We also had those guys from Extatus here, and I mean Extatus and eSuba have a really, really big rivalry, and I'm excited because now in the group there are 3 of them pretty much. They're the favorites, so this Czech-Slovakian lineup, that's going to be very, very interesting. And as we see right now, if you're just joined in, if you don't know what's actually up, this format is very, very differently because the winner of this match will play against HoP, and then the winner of that one is directly in that decider match in round number 4. Interestingly enough, though, TTFU is going to play against Reason or eSuba, and whoever loses that one is out of the tournament.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be real sad to see already the teams getting knocked out right here. But I'm definitely excited to find out who's going to qualify for the LAN finals because we're going to get to see them right there in Hamburg. And by the way, yeah, for in the prize pot, I think we've got $3,000 overall to be split. But above that, also there are travel packages prepared for all the teams that qualify for the LAN finals. So they're going to have their travels covered and all that stuff. So that's real nice to see. And last time we had Red Reserve against Legends, and Red Reserve kind of dominated that the grand final.
Yeah.
So definitely wondering what it's going to be this time because we don't see any Brazilian teams. So they were quite exotic, we can say, for us
Yeah,
in a
that's a good
European
word.
tournament. But this time
But then you
it's
also got
it's
Russians.
yeah, there's a thing like that. But we've also got, if I'm not mistaken, a couple more German teams. Because there was Legends and
Yes,
Euronics last time, if I'm not mistaken, and this time we've got three instead of two. Or I might be
exactly. We
mistaken.
have no, you're right. You're right. We have the most known here, Planet Key. We have UX Gaming, and we have Wizards. So Planet Key, definitely a German favorite here. We don't even need to talk about this. Have been showing some recently decent performances. We know number one team in Germany is big, definitely, but the place number two, the second slot there, this is where it battles out between Planet Key Dynamics and Oronix. We also had last season. So I personally see the possibility. I personally see a big possibility for those guys from Planet Key to be in that final in group number D. We're going to see it on Friday. But first of all, let's focus on Reason Gaming versus eSuba. That LAN final, if you want all the information, logically, you'll find it on the ELC Gaming website. And the garage, I figure we can talk about the garage a little. That is, esports venues. You've been to more esports venues than I have been. But the garage is one special thing.
Yeah, definitely a very special thing with Big Betty standing right in the middle right now with the matches oftentimes being played out on her. A mobile esports scene is something definitely a little bit new. And if I remember correctly, if nothing has changed, it's still the only such truck in Europe that we've got right here. So definitely, it's gonna be nice for the players to get an experience like that, and once again to see it with my own eyes for myself. And yeah, with this group, we've got huge nationality mixes because we've got Reason with one player being from South Africa. We've got some British players out there on eSuba, of course, Czech and Slovakian players. Then we've got Hungary, then we've got Bulgaria. So right here, it is going to be interesting to see who rises above the rest and who's going to qualify for the LAN, because they're all from different places in Europe, on our continent, actually.
Yeah, and as you say, the different places in our continent. This is
All right. So it seems like we're gonna be restarting the stream really shortly. We got some very important emergency info that the delay is gonna be raised a little bit for the teams, of course, to feel comfortable about their matches and about nobody ghosting out there. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be coming back in just a couple seconds.